Welcome everyone and Happy New Year. This is Bōde's Edmonton real estate market update for January 2022. This video is going to quickly show you what's happening in Edmonton at a macro level, and then we're going to show you where you can find all of the data for your specific community and property type so you can find out what's happening with property prices in your local area. So let's dive in. First thing we're going to look at is Edmonton supply and demand. So we're going to look at the number of new listings in Edmonton each month for the last 4 years. And this is the greater Edmonton area and looking at all residential listings. So here you can see one line for each of the last 4 years, and the bright blue line here shows you 2021. So for most of 2021, there were more listings than typical each month for the entire year. And in December, the most recent month, there were 11% more listings in December than the average of the 3 previous Decembers. So just under 1,500 new listings came to market. So lots of new listings, but not nearly as many new listings as there have been sales. So sales have been incredibly strong for the entire year. Bright blue line here shows you that in some months, sales have been more than double what they typically are. So in the most recent month, here in December, sales are up 45% versus the average of the 3 previous Decembers. So sales still really, really strong and proportionately stronger than new listings. So when there's proportionately more sales than there are new listings, then of course inventory, the total number of homes for sale, is going to go down. And right now inventory is at one of its lowest levels in years. So down 25% against the 3 previous Decembers. Just over 4,000 listings in the greater Edmonton area. It means there's not that many homes for sale. When we look at months of supply, so this is looking at both supply and demand at the same time, this says, given the amount of inventory, how long would it take to sell through all of that inventory, given the current rate of sales? And you can see here, again, a bright blue line for 2021, the months of supply has been lower than typical for the entire year. And again, still very low right now in December. So when months of supply are low, that means it's a good time to be a seller. Homes are selling quickly and there's not very many of them. So that your chances of getting a sale at a price you're happy with are good. And for buyers, this is bad news because there's not that much inventory available and it's selling fairly quickly. So it's harder to be a buyer in a market like this. Of course, everyone wants to know is what's happening with prices. This chart looks at the HPI index, or the home price index, for the last 17 years. And you can see in most of early 2021 here, prices were going up quite quickly, but they've actually turned a corner and started to come down now. So for the last 6 months or so, home prices in Edmonton have been coming down overall. But of course, it really depends on what community and what kind of property you're talking about, detached or apartments, etc. So you really need to look at this data for your specific community. And that's what you can do on our website, Bōde.ca. So here we give you free access to all the data you need to better understand what's happening to home prices and supply and demand in your area. First tool you can check out is market data. Here's where you can see those same supply and demand dynamics that we just went through for the overall Edmonton area. You can also look up the sold price of any home that's sold in the last 11 years in Alberta by going to our sold data page. And finally, you can find comparable homes to yours by entering 8 key features of your home, and we'll return a match score for the most similar live listings, which would be your current competition if you were going to sell, and the most comparable recently sold listings. So those help you figure out what your home might be worth. So check all of that out at Bōde.ca and join us again next month. Thanks very much.